Let's discuss the pros and cons of an online accounting degree. Number one, let's start with the pros of flexibility. Obviously, is one of the most important factors when considering an online accounting degree. Most of us have very busy and hectic schedules, and seeking an online degree in general has the potential to fit into those random moments of available time that happen throughout the day, and quite often, virtual classrooms can be accessed at any point in the day. So, flexibility as far as time constraints definitely is number one, in my opinion. Maybe you're a parent, maybe you have to work full time, maybe you have other engagements that require your time and require you to be flexible. That's why flexibility is key to an online education, and an online accounting degree can have that for you. Number two is convenience. Without question, an online accounting degree offers a significant amount of convenience. For example, commute times, when compared to more traditional academic learning, will be significantly reduced or possibly eliminated entirely. The student also has the opportunity to expand their academic options without regard to geographic constraints. The remote nature of an online accounting degree permits the student to attend programs throughout the country without having to move or relocate. So, convenience certainly is there. Maybe a traditional brick and mortar learning opportunity doesn't offer you that. You have to stick to a strict schedule. You have to stick to a specific region. You have to move to a state that has that hosts the school that you want to attend. That's not the case necessarily with online learning, and you certainly have an opportunity again with an online accounting degree to basically go to school anywhere in the world, which is a pretty cool thing. Number three is that an online format can foster effective and informative dialogue. Essentially, we're looking at effective discourse between students as well as between student and the professor, for example. Course discussions typically don't require simultaneous interactions between students themselves and students and the professor. So this can encourage an informed conversation as students have more time to think about, process, and articulate their responses instead of solely depending upon the knowledge of a professor. An effective online discussion has the potential to unlock the teaching qualities within every student. So essentially, we get to learn from each other as well. Whereas a lot of times during a traditional learning experience, it's sort of a one-way street, right? You're getting your information from straight from a book, from a course packet, from the professor, and it's expected that you're absorbing what this one person or this one book or this one group of educational professionals has to say about a certain topic. Um, this way, you actually get to turn your fellow students into professors to a certain degree. So that effective discourse is inherent in an online course through conversations that you'll have, discussion modes, things along those lines. So that's very, very important. Also, we are seeing the development of hybrid programs pop up, and as distance learning continues to gain momentum, many schools are refining these programs to put a bigger emphasis on hybrid learning. So these opportunities combine primary distance learning with the occasional in-person labs or training opportunities that might benefit you according to the online degree you choose. These programs aim to combine a greater variety of learning opportunities, and they do that in order to further prepare accounting students for their future careers. While accounting in general doesn't require nearly as many, let's say it, labs, right, or direct interactions with other students or your professor, it is getting more and more important to be able to develop those interpersonal skills, and these hybrid labs or hybrid courses offer those opportunities for you. Don't forget that as you go out into the world and you seek your accounting degree, you still have to learn um, prerequisites to other ways of life, you know. So you have to take an ethics course. You'll have to take an English course. So all these other courses will certainly apply to more direct interactions as well. So that's why a hybrid learning opportunity can be a great opportunity for you as well. Um, let's see. If hybrid learning or in-person labs and training are required for the portion of your online accounting degree, then physical proximity to the program becomes necessary, right? So as online learning opportunities continue to grow, many programs are establishing smaller satellite locations, and these locations could provide opportunities for in person learning, even when students live far away from the primary campus of the program. So, let's say in Arizona, there's an accounting program that has massive draw, right? There's tons of students that want to go there for their online degree program. The school or program then develops these satellite locations that would allow for in-person learning as well, to combine into this hybrid model development, which is pretty cool. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this in the future for sure. And of course, another pro, the cost, right? And this one wasn't always a pro, and I think it's debatable if it even is right now, but we're going in the right direction, and that is key because without a doubt, rising education costs are an enormous burden upon students, right? And those same costs must be considered while seeking your online accounting degree. Just because a program is conducted remotely doesn't mean that it will be any less expensive than traditional on campus learning. Unfortunately, the model that is online or distance learning was primarily developed by for profit programs. That's really what you saw that started online learning in the first place. It wasn't your traditional colleges and universities, although they are definitely getting on board big time now. It was smaller programs that either didn't have um, the footprint within a community to draw enough numbers, or they just didn't want to physically purchase or lease a brick and mortar building for teaching. So that's when the for-profit model came into play, and student costs kind of were unbearable. You used to be that you traded off the convenience and the flexibility of online learning for higher costs. And fortunately, the world is continuing to embrace online learning, and a greater variety of programs are being developed. Mainstream universities are developing and refining their own remote learning programs, and they're also creating a significant amount of competition. This competition is what's starting to drive down costs, and they're offering a wider range of tuition than ever before. So, as you peruse online accounting programs, be certain to compare the cost. Oftentimes, an online degree now can be obtained with significant savings attached. So, those are just a few of the pros. How about some of the cons? Because the cons, they might be enough to lure you away from an online opportunity. But if you know what they are ahead of time, you can train yourself. You can learn a little bit more about it and see if it works best for you. So, first con is definitely more related to you personally. It's discipline. A definite con. Do you have it? Do you not have it? Is it a hurdle that you'll have to jump over? That's something we got to figure out because the freedom afforded online accounting degree students might not benefit everyone. Online education requires a distinct individual that's capable of self discipline. The student has a significant amount of control over the learning experience, and that can be a blessing for those seeking flexibility, or it can be a burden for anyone who struggles to organize their daily life. And now, remember, unfortunately, for many online learners, a hectic lifestyle is precisely the reason for seeking distance programs in the first place. So, prior to seeking an online education, prospective students should conduct a self assessment of their lives. Do you have the discipline to succeed in an online learning environment? Only you know the answer to that question. It's true. So, if you struggle with discipline, if the reason why you're getting into this is because maybe you've got three kids and you work 40 hours a week, um, and you just have a lot of responsibilities on your plate. That's a hectic lifestyle, right? And do you have, I'm not saying you're not disciplined in general, but do you have the discipline to add yet another thing to your plate? Is that even possible? Um, or maybe you're coming fresh out of high school and you don't quite know what you want to do with your life, or you do think you want to become an accountant. Um, but maybe you also have yet to grasp the discipline necessary to succeed and drive yourself on your own without having in-person professor or teacher or guidance to lead the way for you. So are you disciplined enough to do this on your own? That's a huge question you've got to ask for yourself. So number two, a con can often be the program itself. Traditional learning experiences are a product of hundreds of years of trial and error, and they have been refined to provide a high quality education. In contrast, online education is relatively new, and effective learning experiences are still being developed. To get the most out of your online accounting degree, it is important to do your research. Experienced and engaging online instructors have the potential to dramatically influence your career trajectory, and unfortunately, effective distance learning instruction is still a work in progress for many programs. You're seeing, especially on the professor front, you're seeing a lot more of highly regarded, industry leading professors and teachers and accountant guidance individuals flocking to online learning because they're now seeing the value in it. They're seeing how effective it can be used to teaching accounting degree opportunities. And it's changing the way that remote learning is happening. So um, you need to take a moment to find a program that seeks out great teachers in general, seeks out distinct program positives that can influence the trajectory of your life, your career. Do they have tentacles reaching into the accounting firms throughout the world and in the United States? Do they have people who come in and directly try to hire outside of the school? Is that even an opportunity that exists in a brand new program? Probably not. But the more established programs are already starting to see huge gains in turning their online degree programs into huge factory farms that create great accounting opportunities, which you do need to take a look at. Now, number three, a con is the technology. Sometimes that can be a limiting factor when participating in an online accounting degree. So, distance learning inherently depends upon access to the internet and the consistent use of a computer, laptop, and phone. So, these luxuries can be quite expensive, right? And a significant burden upon the students. Furthermore, an impactful learning experience will depend upon the degree of technical literacy that you personally have. So, progressive development of such skills are often a requirement for online education. Are you technical? Do you know how, if your computer blue screens on you, can you get access to another computer? Are these limitations that you have inherently in your lifestyle or in your personal circumstances? Are these limitations for you? If they are, then you might need to seek programs that would be able to offer assistance. They have loan programs for laptops, they have rental programs for laptops, phones, things along those lines. So seek out programs that want to be there to support you from a technical standpoint. Now, um, if you are going to be living or learning, I should say, in an online program, you need to make the decision right now to become technically fluent. If your computer crashes during the middle of a test and you're in an online test and it's timed, you need to know how to quickly recover from that. Do you have a dependable phone service? Can you get access to the internet when you need it? These are all things that have to happen in order for you to have an online program. And if that's not going to happen for you, then maybe more traditional learning is going to be necessary for you. Now, our fourth con is definitely the online stigma. Now, this could be number one, but it could also disappear pretty soon. That's the goal, right? So while online education is certainly gaining ground upon traditional education options, it's worth noting that negative stigmas still exist based upon traditional online learning problems, right? So it's pretty new as far as learning opportunities are concerned, while within the grand picture, the brick and mortars have been around for hundreds of years, right? And online learning has just been around for a blink of time. So, as such, it shouldn't be surprising that prospective employers might value an online accounting degree less than one obtained through in person campus based courses. Um, Fortunately, there's been an active transition in this mindset, and it's gaining momentum every day as more and more people participate in online education. And this goes back to the con of the program, right? Um, More and more highly regarded people within the accounting field are flocking to be mentors within these online programs. And that's key because they are the ones that have the context. They are the ones that can help students find their first job in a firm that's going to take care of them, in a firm that's going to have great health benefits or offer progressive pay scales. So, um, as more and more of these uh, of of these mentors who are important within the accounting community flock towards teaching, you're seeing more opportunities arise, and you're seeing that online stigma slowly dissipate. So, fortunately, I am hopeful that the online stigma is going to disappear. Don't hold me to that, but it feels like that's the momentum. That's the direction we're heading towards. Is really valuing online education and brick and mortar education as being equals. It just depends upon the person and what's best for them. And that leads us to our last con, and that is the general lack of hands-on experience. Um, it should come as no surprise that remote learning generally lacks immersive hands-on experiential learning, right? Physically interactive learning has always been an important factor in processing, understanding, and memory building. While researching online accounting degree options, it's important to consider whether or not you learn best with extensive hands-on experience. If you learn best through direct interaction, then seeking remote learning for your accounting degree might be a poor choice. Will this limiting factor frustrate you in your learning experience? Will it force you to abandon your dreams of an online accounting degree prematurely? If your answer is yes, then it's likely in your best interest to seek more traditional learning experiences. There's nothing worse than spending a whole ton of time, a whole lot of effort, and a bunch of money and finding out a couple years into it or a year into it that, you know what, this just isn't for me. And I'm not just talking about the accounting field, I'm talking about, you know what, online learning isn't for me, or I can't do this, or this isn't an effective tool for me towards achieving the goals I want. So you need to look within yourself and discover whether or not this is the direction you need to go. Is online conducive, not only flexible for your lifestyle, not only uh, convenient, but is it what you want? Is it what's going to drive you to complete your degree? Because that's the most important part, completing that degree. So, and as far as completing your degree is concerned, I want to wish you the very best.